I would say probably one of the biggest things for me, or biggest things that I did, was, take some risks, like be uncomfortable, put yourself in situations, challenge yourself, and at the end of the day, this is gonna sound crazy, but struggle.
Do you strive off that? Do you strive off being uncomfortable?
I strive off struggling.
Do you feel? Billy!
Yo! No! We can do this, bro, but you gotta take that off before we start.
I just thought this was a big moment for us, so I kind of came a little dressed up, but if you don't like it, then I guess I'll take it off then. What's up, man?
My boy.
How you doing, brother? Everything good? Good to see you, man. You like the fit?
It's gotta go. It's good, but it's gotta go.
All right, I guess.
Let's do this.
What's going on, guys? John Gnarly here, back with another Barber Talk video. I'm here with a very special guest, one of my good friends, Billy Davis, the general sales manager here at Harley Davidson, located in Orlando, Florida. And let's just pick his brains a little bit. Magic trick. Where's Ryo? Where's Ryo? All right, bro, so what do you want to get done today?
Today, classic.
Classic, the usual?
The usual.
Sounds
medium
good,
fade,
okay.
part, line up the beard, that's it.
Awesome, a little bit off top?
A little bit off the top.
Cool, sounds good, man. All right, man, so let's just jump right into it, man. Where are you from?
I'm from Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, so born in Lake Havasu City, and I grew up in the Prescott-Chino Valley area. Most people don't know what that's at, but a little farm town.
Somewhere in Arizona,
Somewhere
right?
in Arizona, yeah.
So did you just jump right from Arizona over to Florida, or were you anywhere else?
Man, I have been in Utah, Oregon, Arizona, Florida, California, and I've traveled a lot of other places, but for the most part it's been Arizona, California, and Florida.
Oh, okay. So was sales pretty much your first job that you ever were really interested in, or did you start somewhere else before you got into sales?
So my background in sales is I was doing it basically unconsciously for probably 8 to 10 years. You know what I mean? Like I was out there doing it, and I had the job that was labeled sales, but I really didn't know exactly what I was doing, or the processes, the psychology behind it, that kind of thing. So I was doing it for a long time, and then it just became a point where, it wasn't a coincidence anymore as to why I always ended up where I was at, or I was always on the top of the board, that kind of thing.
So you started sales in Arizona?
In Arizona, yeah.
And how old were you when you started sales?
16 years old.
16, so that's pretty much all you know is just sales, sales, sales.
That's it.
Wow.
I tried to delete it for a second, but like for the most part, like it's sales, yeah.
It just always comes right back to you, right, man?
That's it.
That's crazy. So is it really just all about the money when it comes to Harley Davidson, or do you really, really, really just love being here, man? Do you love selling for them? I know it's a tough question, man. But
yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. But for me, and it's what I base my entire philosophy around, is the experience. It's giving people the time of their life. You got guys that, they've been waiting 50 years to get their first Harley Davidson.
Wow.
Everyone can get a motorcycle. You go online and buy a motorcycle for a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
But you've got guys that have been waiting 50 plus years to buy their first Harley, right? Because it's been around for that long, because their parents rode Harley Davidsons, their cousins, somebody in their family, a friend they knew, like somebody that they, you know, someone that they looked up to when they were little rode a Harley. And that's probably at that time like the most badass thing that they could ever see was somebody getting on that loud bike and jamming down the road. So for me, it's more about the experience, and that's, you know, like when opportunities came around, it was, you had these people that were coming in here and you were showing them an experience that they enjoyed, right? So when they come out of that office and they ring the bell, you get the chills every single time. Like, to me, that's what it's all about.
Nice.
Like this business specifically, like outside of the money aspect, that's what it's about. It's about the experience. But that kind of rolls right into why we're where we're at.
Yeah.
As to why we perform the way we do is we treat every customer that walks in here as, you know, this is the first time they've ever walked into a Harley dealer, and that experience, it's like when you walk into Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
You got somebody over there changing the trash can, what are they doing? They're smiling, right?
Yeah.
They're smiling and they're looking over at you, and it's all about that experience. But it's the same thing that we do in this building is give somebody the experience of a lifetime, to where
That's awesome, man.
they purchase here one time, they purchase here forever, and it's just it's a repeating thing. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's big.
So you never were really interested in selling cars, you know, like those high-end cars, Lamborghini, Rolls Royce?
Thought about it?
Uh-huh.
I really did. Like, so it's a funny story. Like when I started with Harley, that's exactly what I was doing. I had
Hoping to work your way up to...
yeah, no, I was working a job at LA Fitness. It was right when I moved to California, and I was the weekend general manager of a store out there, right? I ended up getting my workout in one day, and I walked out that same day. I was like, I'm gonna get out of here. And I told the lady at the front desk, she was the operations manager, I was like, I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm never gonna do sales again. I just want to let you know that, right? So I walked out, and I went and put a suit and tie on, and I walked into like 10 car dealerships.
No
I was
way.
like, I could sell some things for you, you know? But anyways, it was that same day that I walked into a Harley dealer, and I was probably the only person in that building wearing a suit.
And how old were you when you
At that time, I was 22.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
started selling motorcycles at 22?
I started selling bikes at 22.
Wow, very
Yeah.
young, man. And how was your performance when you were selling motorcycles that young? Were you a little intimidated by the other older gentlemen that were working there that have a lot more knowledge and experience?
That's been a thing for me this entire time, is that age gap. You know, you got guys that were in that entry level position for, you know, that are 40 years old, that have been doing it for 20 plus years, and I walk in there with my dress shoes on and my tie, and like literally the first thing they said was like, "Don't ever wear that shit in here again." Okay, but no, yeah, that has been a difficult road, especially moving at the pace that I move, which is, I've always moved at the same pace, and it's always been there's no other way but going up, you know. But that was probably some of the toughest times is getting through or gaining the respect of some people.
Really
that
just
were,
getting your feet wet. Sorry to cut you off. Just really getting your feet wet in the...
Yeah, it's you know, it's getting the respect from guys that have been doing it for, you know, 20 plus years, and I come in, and just so you know, like my first weekend on the floor, I sold 11 bikes.
No way.
Which
that probably just
I'm proud
changed
of.
your whole...
To me, I didn't even know what that meant, but it was, other people that were watching was a big deal.
All right, man. So now that we know a little bit of your backstory, let's talk about your come up, man. So, what was it like that first time that you made that big check and you were like, wow, I can really be something big in this industry? What was that feeling for you?
That's deep.
Yeah, it was. It was. I'm sorry to cut that deep, but
Nah.
but yeah, what was that feeling? You just getting that big check. Like, was it a big wake up moment for you? Like, wow, I can really be something in this industry, or was it like I can be something else somewhere else?
That big one was probably in 2019.
Wow.
So it was, you know, it wasn't that long ago, and that, you know, it says a couple of different things, and some people probably aren't going to like this, but maybe some people that I know watching, but like it was, I just did that for myself.
Yeah.
And that's what it was to me, was I just did that for myself. But the other aspect was I just made tenfold for somebody else.
Yeah.
So it was a, you know, I hate to sound like cliche about it, but it was a bittersweet moment. It was like, okay, I just did that for me, but
someone else's.
The amount of, yeah, of course, yeah. The amount of time I put into that for somebody else and the work that I did for somebody else, it was like that opened my eyes. So there's been a lot of change in myself over the last couple of years that, you know, it really came from moments like that. I'm not going to say it was that exact time, but it was moments like that kind of that open your eyes, you know, open your eyes of what you're capable of.
So what transitioned you from Riverside to over to Orlando?
So I was with Riverside Harley for exactly 1 year, from August 14th to August 15th of 2014. At that point in time, that's when we purchased Huntington Beach Harley Davidson, and that's when that conversation was had, you know, about the consistency, and it wasn't a coincidence that I was on top, and I had, you know, I would call him a role model at the time. He said, if you think you're ready to move up, you're ready to move up.
And instantly you were probably like, yep, let's go.
Oh yeah, I said absolutely. And he said, if you have any doubt in your mind that this could be the wrong move, he said, you will fail. He said,
wow.
So do you doubt yourself? I said, absolutely not. Let's go. Yeah. So.
And how old were you at that time?
23 years old was at the time of that first like big promotion. So.
And so you went from just a regular
sales guy. It was a sales guy to a salesman. At that point in time, I moved out to Huntington Beach.
Okay.
Probably the greatest move of my life. You know, going from Riverside to Inland Empire to Huntington Beach.
And why is that? Why was that a good moment for you?
Lifestyle. I met my wife. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened out there, but
shout out to Cece.
Shout out to Cece. Yeah. I moved out there, and I had big goals in mind, and at the same time, you know, I was 23 years old. I was still at that point where everybody that was working with me was, you know, minimum 5-6 years older than me. To at the point, you know, I had some guys that were not an exaggeration at all, were 70 years old that were working.
And was that a little intimidating? You,
for me, absolutely.
Jumping right into a new dealership, now going into a completely new environment with new people. Was that a little difficult for you to transition?
The whole transition was difficult. I was going to, you know, going from people that were, you know, where I was, everybody was older than me. You know, there was 25 of me on the floor.
Wow.
And I was like,
sales representatives
and I said, yeah, okay, it's my time, and I'm going to take this. And I wasn't, you know, the last thing I was going to do is say no, I wasn't ready, even if I wasn't fucking ready.
And how was your first week there?
Scary. First customer that I talked to.
Completely blew you off.
Oh, blew me off. Very, very, very first guy I talked to, I went out and thought I knew exactly what I was doing. And that guy was gone in 60 seconds.
Oh my goodness. What did that do to your...
So, I mean, that's one of the biggest things
to your mental at that point?
Learning experience.
Okay.
That's it. So that's probably one of my biggest things is mistakes you make, or, you know, chances that you may have missed, is you have to take those as experiences, and that's how, you know, you have to learn from those mistakes, and that's how you move forward. That's exactly how you move forward, is you learn from the things that you did or did not do, and probably one of the other most important things is learning from the things that other people above you did or did not do, and that's I credit that. A lot of that to where I'm at right now is doing things that other people did or did not do.
So did you have a role model when you were growing up in the industry? Because when I started cutting hair, fresh out of high school, I was about 18. I go into this barbershop full of just completely good, like, barbers, man, like well-rounded, full clientele, and I'm there just sitting in my chair like, wow, I need to start picking these people's brains and learning some techniques. Did you do anything like that when you started at Harley?
There was only one other person that had the same mentality as I did.
Was he a younger guy, an older guy?
He was a year older than me.
Wow.
Exactly 1 year. And we had old souls together. Like, what we did is exactly what our management didn't do, and we fed off of each other. And that was the only competition that we needed.
That's awesome.
You know, and that's an important thing, is finding somebody that's going to ride with you like that. And it doesn't matter who, you know, which one of you is doing better. It's funny if somebody else is doing better than the other, but that, at the end of the day, as long as you find this person that you're using to move up with and push yourself along and challenge each other, like that was probably one of the biggest things for me, biggest transitions.
And did you guys ever compete at some point, and you guys kind of just like it benefited you guys competing against each other, like a friendly competition?
Yeah, that was it. That's all we did. But at the same time, we were helping each other out.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, we liked our days off, and we always had split days. So when I was off, he was handling my people, and he was off, as vice versa. So yeah, it worked out. You know, it was a good thing for us.
Let's talk about you getting sent over here to Orlando.
Sure.
What was that feeling like for you? Now they're okay. So you went from Riverside to Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
So from Huntington Beach, you came over here to Orlando. How was that transition for you?
So that was exactly. It's funny. I was at Riverside for exactly 1 year.
Goodness.
And then I was at Huntington Beach for exactly 1 year. Right. So that's when the discussion.
And was your positions
the same? So I was a fit specialist and a sales manager for a year.
Were you promoted to a sales? You were a manager?
Yeah.
Okay, you were a manager.
Out there I was. Yeah.
Okay, so you were a manager out there in Huntington Beach.
Correct.
And did they promote you to come out over here?
So that's kind of where the big jump happened. Was right there. I was ready for the next position with that company.
What?
Okay.
Sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
What made you ready? What did you feel inside that just told you that you were ready to make that big step into one, going to a different location, and two, taking on more pressure at work?
So that is one thing that only you would know. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna have things inside your body telling you, are you ready? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be things inside that are gonna be telling you no this whole time. Like you're gonna be the only one that's really questioning yourself, because you wouldn't be a topic of conversation if it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that you gotta set straight is, okay, you know, this wouldn't be in conversation if it wasn't the right time. So at that point, it was time for me to move up there. But the issue that I was running up against was the company that I was with was they didn't want to lose me in the spot that I was in.
Okay, because you probably made that store jump up super high in ranks.
That store, after being purchased by the company that I was with, was the fastest growing Harley Davidson dealership of all time.
No way.
To this day, still the same thing.
And would you say that you contributed to a lot of that?
Oh, absolutely. As much as they should, you know, the owners are great people and they took credit.
Yeah,
they should take credit. Was that store was ranked? There's only 700 dealerships in the United States. That store was ranked 562 when we got there, and by the end of the first year, we were ranked number 2 in the world.
Wow.
So, 1 year.
Wow, that's crazy.
1 year down the road, number 2 in the world.
Did they call you to tell you like, hey, I want you to move over here?
No.
Was someone over here at this store calling you saying, hey, I want you to come over here?
What ended up happening was, I knew I was ready to move up. Mm-hmm. The company was not ready for me to move up because we were so new. Mm-hmm. Right? We were so new and we were doing so well. The company didn't want to lose me in the position that I was in, and that's just the honest truth of the whole thing. And what ended up happening was I kind of gave them an ultimatum. I said, which at the time I really didn't have anything. I had
a dollar and a dream.
Yeah, a dollar and a dream. So I had a friend of mine, one of my good buddies, that actually had came out to Orlando from the same store that I was at, and he said that he's like, I could plug you in here, you would have your own store, and it was a conversation like that. So I went to these guys and I said, hey, you know, one of two things are going to happen here. I was like, and you know, it's always good to use leverage, but at the same time, it hurts to question your talent so much. You know what I mean? So I gave the guys an opportunity because I liked where I was at. I liked Huntington Beach, and it was, are we doing this here or am I doing this somewhere else?
So it was a huge vibe change then.
Huge vibe change.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, you know, the guys were prideful and they were younger. They weren't much older than I was, the guys owning the dealership. So at that point in time, that was probably one of the biggest leaps that I ever took, and I took an offer from Orlando Harley. Orlando.
Smaller store than this one?
Yeah, smaller store. It's much smaller than this store. And, you know, it was a similar scenario as me walking in to Huntington Beach as a sales manager. I didn't know anybody. Nobody knew me. They had no idea what was coming. They didn't like that I was younger than them. You know, there was a million things that made that uncomfortable, but you know, to me, in order to, you know, to thrive, to really thrive, you need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and that's just what it's been for me, is be uncomfortable for a little bit, you know?
Would you say to anyone that's looking to take that leap of faith, going somewhere else, or to let's say step into a different profession or a different environment, would you tell them to just take it, or to kind of do your research a little bit and then take it, or to just find what's inside,
this would be, I mean, I guess for people that are probably even younger than I am, people that want to hustle, people that want to get out there and do some things. I would say probably one of the biggest things for me, or biggest things that I did, was, take some risks, like be uncomfortable. Put yourself in situations, challenge yourself, and at the end of the day, this is gonna sound crazy, but struggle.
Do you strive off that? Do you strive off being uncomfortable?
I strive off struggling.
Do you feel like you work? Do you feel like you work your best under pressure?
I work my best under pressure, and that's not going to be the same for everybody. But you got to ask yourself, especially when you're, let's say you got 10 years behind on me. You've got so much time. You have so much time, Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things for me is putting yourself in a position where you have no other way to go but forward.
Love that.
So struggle, take some risks, make it challenging, because you got time. This stuff doesn't happen overnight.
Goosebumps.
Doesn't happen
goosebumps,
overnight,
bro. I got goosebumps.
When it comes to me, I've got a lot of people I take care of, and that's one of the things that I thrive for is being able to take care of all the people that they've been in my life, or they haven't been able to do something, whatever the case may be. Is I want everybody that I know to be able to do something, and if I can do that for that person, like that's the bottom line for me, is being able to do those things for other people, and I've always lived like that. And then at the end of the day, it's I've had people that come back to me and they're like, hey, you're the reason why I'm here right now. That to me is true satisfaction.
That's amazing, man. Billy, I'm just gonna tell you right now, man, you are a very talented young individual, man, and at some points, man, I don't think you realize, but you really, really, really motivate me. And I really appreciate our friendship, and I look up to you, man, as like a big brother, God, man, I'm making me a little fucking emotional and shit, man. Yeah, dude, I really appreciate our friendship, man. I really appreciate all the tips that you've given me and all the motivation that you've given me, man, and I really hope that you're able to spread that message to other young people, and of course, just continue to be the best person, or the best version of you, man, because that's just everlasting, man. I feel like your soul will just go on forever.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what I was getting to at the end of the day, is I want to be remembered for one thing, right? And it's that I cared about what other people did, right? Or being able to show people that these things are possible, and you don't have to be, you don't got to be fucking Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. You don't got to be those people to be remembered, right? As long as the people that you're surrounded with and the people that are close to you, they realize that you did something that was a little bit outside of the ordinary, that they could take a step forward on. And if everybody's taking one step forward, we're all moving forward.
It's awesome, man.
Right?
It's awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something today. Billy, thank you so much again, man. I really appreciate you inviting me and the team over here. Shout out to T, shout out to San over here behind the camera for capturing these amazing moments with everybody. Shout out to Lil Ryo. Pup's coming soon. Make sure you guys follow For Real Frenchies on Instagram. Make sure you follow Billy For Real on Instagram. Make sure you guys come here at the Orlando Harley Davidson at Orlando, Florida on, what is it, I-4?
Yeah,
I-4?
I-4. Yep.
I-4. And make sure you guys like and subscribe for future videos of Barber Talk. I have a great lineup coming up, and thanks again. Thank you for watching.